Hello YouTube, how's everyone doing? It's Professional here. So today I got a crazy current events video for you guys. This was a story that happened very recently. This killing happened a year ago, but this story is blowing up right now because of a video that went viral where this guy had killed his girlfriend and realized that his life is over. He's going to prison for life, and he starts breaking down, saying that he will never get to play GTA 6 again. Now, this video, I'm going to say, is very disturbing. This is pretty messed up, so I'm just warning people, if you do not want to see this, I would highly recommend to click off the video right now. But this this recommended in my feed a couple days ago, and at first I couldn't believe this. I couldn't believe that this was real, but when I did more research into it, I realized this is very much real. This is very much a real thing that happened. And a few of you guys were also asking me about this on my live stream yesterday, and I started talking about this and I explained the story, and a lot of people cannot believe that this is real, but this is very much real. This is not a made-up story. This really happened. You can look at the article down below if you want. I will link it down below, but here's the title. This is from People. Man cries over missing release of Grand Theft Auto while being arrested for murder of ex-girlfriend. Robert Richens, 35, was sentenced to life in prison for the murder of Rachel Vaughn, 40, on Friday, February 6th. So this happened in the United Kingdom. This murder happened in May of 2025, and this guy was sentenced in December. In December, this guy was sentenced, and he was sentenced to 16 years to life, which I'll explain what that means a little bit later. But he murdered his girlfriend, and the details are very gruesome. We're going to cover that. I'm going to explain all of that and talk about this, but it's a very disturbing case. And the video that's going viral is the body cam footage from the police in Britain, where the guy was breaking down, crying, and saying, I'm not going to get to play GTA 6. He wasn't crying over the fact that he killed his girlfriend. He was crying over the fact that he's going to prison and he's going to spend the rest of his life there. And the first thing that could come to his mind was about GTA 6. This guy is either a psychopath or he has very psychopathic traits. This is a very evil man. This is a very bad person, but I'm going to explain more about his psychopathic traits here. Robert Richens, 35, was sentenced to life in prison for the murder of Rachel Vaughn, 40, on Friday, February 6th. In body cam footage shared by UK outlet The Independent, Richens was captured weeping as he was arrested in May 2025 and saying, I'm going to miss GTA, referring to the November 2026 release of Grand Theft Auto 6. Richens pled guilty to murder in December 2025. A man has been filmed crying over missing the release of a video game while being arrested for the murder of his former partner. On Friday, February 6th, police announced in a press release that Robert Richens, 35, has been sentenced to life in prison with a minimum term of 16 years and 1 month for the May 2025 murder of Rachel Vaughn, 40, in Oxfordshire, England. Okay, now about this. There's a lot of misinformation that's coming out about this case, guys. A lot of people are saying that, saying, why is he only getting 16 years in prison? That's what a lot of people are saying, but he didn't get a 16-year sentence. He got a life sentence. But what this basically means is life in prison with a minimum term of 16 years. What that basically means is that he's going to spend the rest of his life in prison, but after 16 years, he could be eligible for parole. So basically, after 16 years, he's going to go in front of a parole board, and there's going to be people that are going to review his case, and they're going to determine whether he is rehabilitated, whether they should release him into society. But I'm telling you, this guy is, I'm 99% certain this guy is never going to get out. This guy is not going to get out of prison, especially when you read about how gruesome the killing was, what he did to his girlfriend, how violent the killing actually was. I don't think this guy is ever going to get out of prison. So when people are saying he's only getting 16 years in prison, it's not true. He has a life sentence, but after 16 years, he could be eligible for parole. And yes, theoretically, he could be released on parole after 16 years, theoretically, but it's most likely not going to happen because the people on the parole board would have to be complete idiots in order to release a guy like this after 16 years. But I don't think that he should be eligible for parole after 16 years. I personally think this guy should probably get the death penalty. But so when people are telling you he's only getting 16 years, it's not entirely true. It's, like I said, after 16 years, he could be eligible for parole, but does not mean that he's getting out. Richens pleaded guilty to 1 count of murder at a previous hearing on 12 December of 2025 at Oxford Crown Court, according to the release. In body cam footage obtained by the UK outlet The Independent, Richens was captured weeping. I'm going to miss GTA during his May 2025 arrest. My God. Which GTA are you talking about, Robert? An officer could then be heard asking. After revealing he was talking on Grand Theft Auto 6, which is set to be released November 19, 2026, an officer told him that he had ages until it's released, to which Richens replied, I'm going to get life. The footage then captured the officer stating, "So I've got Robert Richards of the 30th of May 2025 said the following: I accidentally killed her. At least I admitted to it. I'm gonna miss GTA. I'm gonna get life." Richards was then seen crying while saying, "I can't get it out of my head," before adding, "I could have went on the run." This is a picture of him during the arrest. Um, Officers were called by Richards from his home at 6:26 a.m. on May 30th last year when he phoned to say he had killed a woman per the release. "You're not going to believe this, and I think I accidentally killed someone. She's not moving," Richards told the operator per the BBC, which cited a 991 call played at a court hearing. "I am being honest because I am ashamed of what I've done. I did not mean to kill this person." According to a local media outlet, the Oxford Mail, prosecutor Neil Moore told the court that Richards punched and kicked Vaughn during the attack and used an implement to beat her. There were 64 sites of blunt force trauma. My God. And this is what this murder is extremely brutal. This is very, 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 very violent. Now, for people that don't know what blunt force trauma is, blunt force trauma is killing somebody or inflicting harm on somebody with any kind of object that's not sharp. So any kind of object that's not sharp. So blunt force trauma could basically be your feet or your legs too. You know, kicking somebody, punching somebody, that's blunt force trauma. But also taking a baseball bat and hitting somebody, that can also very much be blunt force trauma. And so this guy hit his girlfriend 64 times, and he used an implement to beat her. They're not saying what it was, possibly a baseball bat or some kind of stick, but he hit her also with something. The prosecutor said Richards then spent 5 hours at Vaughn's home, cleaning up her body, changing her clothes, and cleaning the space, according to the outlet. Vaughn was then pronounced dead at the scene, per the police release. Richards was then arrested at his home later that day before being charged the following day. The pair began an on-off again relationship, an on-off relationship in spring 2023, per the Oxford Mail. "My thoughts remain with Rachel Vaughn's family and of everyone who loved her as they continue to face what is an unimaginable loss," Senior Investigating Officer Detective Chief Inspector Stuart May said in a statement. "Rachel was taken from them in the very place she should have felt safest, her own home." May added, "Robert Richards' actions were heartless. He left Rachel alone in her house, made no attempt to help her or seek medical attention, and he only contacted police when he had nowhere else to turn. Today's sentence means that Richards will now face the consequences of his merciless actions," he concluded. So about this, and this is the mugshot. I'm gonna play the video also here. The video is gonna be pretty disturbing. So I'm just warning people again with the video. But basically, what this guy did was, he had beat his girlfriend to death very violently at her home, and then what he did was, after he killed her, he spent hours cleaning up the scene, probably using bleach, probably trying to get rid of any DNA evidence that he had on himself in the area, getting rid of any of his fingerprints, any of his DNA that could be in the house. And then what he did was he redressed her, which just makes the story much more creepy, and I don't know why he did that. And then he went home, and then he called the police. And about this is the reason that I think he called the police, my best guess on this, is because he realized that he had no way out. He realized that he was going to get caught, he was going to get arrested. No matter how much he tried to clean up the crime scene, he was going to get caught. And the reason for this is because when somebody dies, the first suspect in a case, most of the time, is either the boyfriend or the girlfriend or the husband or the wife. The significant other is almost always the first suspect. And the police would look at him first, see, where were you? Do you have an alibi for this time when she was killed? And so what he did was he tried to call the police and he tried to say it was an accident, I didn't mean to kill her, when the evidence says otherwise. This girl was violently beaten to death. It was really horrible, really disgusting. But I'm going to play you guys the video, and yes, this is going to include the video of the guy basically saying, that I'm not going to get to play GTA, 6 here. This guy has very psychopathic traits, and I'm going to explain that. So here, Friday, May 2025, the following 999 calls was made.
Please watch emergency.
And I think that 999 is the same version of 911 in the UK. Correct me if I'm wrong on that.
What I'm about to tell you, have you got my location? Because I've done something quite serious.
Well, I can attempt to locate you if need be, but what's going on?
You're not going to believe this, and I think I accidentally killed someone.
You think you've accidentally killed someone? Okay. Okay, talk me through what's happened.
She's not moving.
Okay, what's your name for me?
It's Robert Richards, and I'm then being honest because I'm ashamed of what I've done. I did not mean to kill this person. I did not mean to do it.
No, I understand that.
Richards was told to stay on the phone until the police arrived. Okay, and I'm gonna keep playing the video, but I'm just gonna explain here a little bit here. The reason I'm saying this guy has very psychopathic traits. I'm not a therapist, so I can't say this guy's a psychopath 100%. But the reason I say that he has psychopathic traits, and this is a very bad person, this is a very evil man, is because what a psychopath basically is, it's somebody who has no empathy for others, no feelings for others. They cannot sympathize with somebody else. They just don't care. Psychopaths will not even love their parents. That's basically what a psychopath is, somebody who is not able to feel empathy for others. And psychopaths, they can be very manipulative people. And notice when he calls, he's like, I think I accidentally killed someone. When he's saying that there specifically, he beat this girl over 60 times. He knew that she was dead. He was trying to clean up the scene. He was trying to cover up. He knew that she was dead. It wasn't an accidental killing. He knew very much what he did. What he was trying to do on the phone is he was trying to downplay his involvement. He was trying to hope that he was going to get some kind of lesser sentence or the court was going to get mercy on him because these calls are recorded. And he probably knows that the calls are recorded. The reason that the police operator, the reason that she's not freaking out is because police operators are specifically trained to deal with this stuff. They're trained to deal with bad people, evil people, crazy people calling, the police and saying these things. So that's, why she's not, very surprised. She's trained to specifically deal with stuff like that. And also when he basically is like saying like, oh, I didn't mean to kill her. And he's pretending like he's crying. He's not actually crying for himself. It's all for show. It's all fake. That's it. Like when he does that voice specifically here, let me see if I can find it again.
You're not gonna believe this, and I think
again he's trying to downplay his involvement in this.
Then he killed someone.
You think you've accidentally killed someone? Okay. Talk me through what's happened.
She's not moving.
Okay, so that right there, he's not being serious about that. That is just for show. He is doing that on purpose to try to downplay his role. Like he feels bad for this, for his girlfriend that he just killed.
Okay, what's your name for me?
It's Robert Richards, and I'm then being honest because I'm ashamed of what I've done. I did not mean to kill this person. I did not mean to do it.
He's not ashamed at all. What he's just scared about is he's scared about the consequences.
No, I understand that.
This part is going to get
police
way
cars.
worse, guys.
I can hear police cars.
You can hear police cars?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you
Quite a lot of them. Quite a lot of them. I'm scared.
Okay, so again, he's trying to portray himself. He's trying to make himself seem sympathetic. He wants the police operator to sympathize with him. That's what he's trying to do. He's trying to minimize his guilt. That's essentially what he's doing right here. But she's not buying it.
No, I understand that, Robert. Okay, but you have done the right thing by reporting this to us. Okay, but I need you to stay on the phone with me until they get there.
Are you just calling this in to get us here, or is there a body we need to go and look for?
There is.
Where is it?
At hers.
At hers. Her house. Where's her house?
Oh, I need to speak to my solicitor. Can you please use that on me? I handed myself in on purpose.
Right, but we need to know where
is she?
Where she is.
So, I handed myself in on purpose. He's trying again to see... He's trying to downplay his involvement in this. Like, oh, I called you guys. I'm not this bad person. That's what he's trying to do. That's why I'm saying this guy has very psychopathic traits. And also, about him crying, I think that I don't believe this at all. And here's what people don't know about psychopaths, is psychopaths, they can very much cry. They can't cry for others, but they can cry for themselves. So basically, for them... If they realize they're going to be punished, if something bad is going to happen to them, they're going to feel bad for themselves. They don't care about anyone else.
Yeah.
Right. Robert, you're under arrest for murder, okay? You do not have to say anything, but it may harm your defence if you do not mention when questioned something you later rely on in court. Anything you do say may be given in evidence, okay? That's to protect vulnerable people and for a prompt and effective investigation. That is because you have called in today saying that you have found a dead body and you believe you've done it, okay? Do you understand?
Yeah. No.
No, he's probably going to try to claim he's insane later on. This is the part. This is the GTA 6 part. This part.
Then we'll sit down, okay?
Yeah, I'm gonna miss GTA and that.
Yeah. Which GTA? What are you talking about, Robert?
6.
Oh, you got ages for that.
I'm gonna get life.
So I've got I, Robert Richards, on the 30th of May 2025, said the following. I accidentally killed her. At least I admitted to it. I'm going to miss GTA. I'm going to get life.
I can't get it out of my head. I could have went on the run.
Okay. He pleaded guilty to 1 count of murder. And so he probably pled guilty on that because so he could possibly get that parole in 16 years. Because if it went to trial, he probably would not have gotten any kind of parole. That was probably one of the things that he pled guilty for. So when people plead guilty, they plead guilty for some kind of reduced sentence, and then the case doesn't have to go to trial. Now about this guy, remember, look at what he says when he says this part right here. This part.
Miss GTA. I'm going to get life.
I can't get it out of my head. I could have went on the run.
And he can't plea anymore. But if his plan was to plead insanity, this would have been used as evidence against him because he should have said, "Oh, I could have fled." That is basically implying guilt right there, that I knew what I did was wrong and I could have escaped. So what I'll say about this guy is this guy has very, very psychopathic traits. This guy, very evil man, very horrible person. It doesn't seem like he has empathy whatsoever. He doesn't regret what he did. This is a very dangerous, evil person. And all he's thinking about is himself. And also about psychopaths is psychopaths, they can be either stupid or smart. You know, there's not every psychopath is a genius and not every psychopath is an idiot. But this guy, you can clearly tell this guy is not the brightest bulb too. So that's what I'll say about this guy. Horrible, evil man. It's disgusting. And, you know, making a comment like that, just thinking about, like, oh, I'm not going to get to play this video game when it comes out, when you literally brutally beat this girl to death, and that's the only thing that you can think about. You know, you have to be a really messed up person, like, really, really evil person, complete sociopath, or possibly even a psychopath to, you know, act like this. But I think that the guy should have gotten death penalty. Like, you know, and I cannot imagine what this girl's family feels like, you know, what this guy did to her, beating her 64 times. You know, beating her so badly to death like that. I cannot imagine what the body looks like. It's horrible even thinking about it. The guy, I tried to research the story a little bit more, and I tried to research what the motive was, why he did that. He claimed that he was drunk. He claimed that he was intoxicated, but he didn't really give any kind of explanation for that. That's not a valid defense whatsoever in that type of situation. It's probably he probably got mad about something, and he decided to take it out on his girlfriend, like the scumbag piece of shit that this guy is, and he beat her to death. Horrible person, and hopefully he gets, you know, exactly what's coming to him in prison. You know, hopefully he gets fully punished in this and he never gets out of prison. I hope that he never gets out of prison. And like I said, doesn't mean that he's going to get out after 16 years. The parole board is probably going to parole board is probably never going to release this guy. When they look at the case and they read that this guy beat this girl 64 times, they are not I do not think that any sane person would let this person out on parole. But that is pretty much it for this video, guys. I just cannot believe that he thinks that playing a video game is more important than somebody else's life. He only cares about himself. He's only crying for himself. Not a shred of tear for this girl that he killed. But thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think down below. I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care, everyone. Have a wonderful day, guys.